The story of the iron pot. During the 1870s, Queensland's development had progressed to the stage where it was deemed necessary to construct a telegraph line for communications with the settlements within the Gulf, the biggest settlements of southern Australia, and connect on to the United Kingdom. The line construction party reached the 100-mile swamp in 1872, which is now the site of the Undara experience. And the line workers set up camp on a small creek, which is almost opposite the present heritage hut located on the Rosella Plain walking track. Through some unknown misfortune, the iron pot was damaged and abandoned at the campsite when the construction team moved on. Since it was no longer used for its original purpose as a cooking pot, probably for salted beef, it lay discarded for many years on the bank of the creek, which eventually took its name, Iron Pot Creek, until it was retrieved and used as an ornamental garden pot at the homesteads of Bilgola and also later Rosella Plain Station. With the story of its origin as important historical connection to our pioneers, it seemed fitting to be displayed at the Fettler's Iron Pot restaurant, which is not far from where it was originally found.
So, welcome to Stevenson's Cave. Metres above the immediate ground level. The crater goes in 23 metres, so it's not a big volcano by any stretch. But it poured out lava. Everywhere you see these dark patches is actually a collapsed lava tube. And so it started here from the crater, which is about 20 kilometres to the southeast from us now. It's flowed along here, all this way. This was the northwestern part of the flow. And it's gone all the way out to the Ainslie River, out past Mount Surprise. You came in through Mount Surprise, everything you could see around you everywhere there is from the Undara volcano. An estimated 23 cubic kilometres of lava poured out in the one event, so making it the biggest single outpouring from a volcano anywhere in the world. And the way it all happens, it's what they call an embryonic shield volcano. So it comes out very slow, like about a walking pace. It's a fairly thick moving lava, so it just meanders along. And also, interestingly, the gradient on which it flowed down was about 1 to 2 degrees gradient the whole way, average of 1.33. So it's just very slow and steady, poured all the way down. As the first bit of the flow gets exposed to the atmosphere, it cools down and starts to form the top of the arc. So when you come in and see here, what you look at is actually the initial depth of the lava flow that was coming along. And as it moves along, it actually burns down through the glycan from the riverbeds and burning down through the basalt. And what's on the edge of the flows, that sticks to the ground around it. That creates the walls and the arch of the top of it. And then the volume just keeps coming and coming, so it burns down deeper and deeper. And the other curious thing about basalt is it's a really great thermal insulator. So now it's actually made its own thermal conduit, and it's now rolling down in. So they reckon that it cooled about 1 degree every 10 kilometres. So by the time it's travelled that whole 160 kilometres, it's only cooled 16 degrees. Come out at 1200. And the only thing it didn't melt was the granite, because that's got to be about 2000 degrees to melt that. And so over time it's just burned down and just kept flowing. I think a lot of the arches would have actually collapsed, and the tubes would have collapsed shortly after forming, because you can get the arch, sticks within it, can get superheated and blow up, so it'd break the arch. Other times it puts like a balloon effect into it, so they call ballooning. And then from seismic activity over time, with all the various eruption times of that. And so of that whole 160 kilometre outpouring, you have 69 complete tubes, which are about 6.3 kilometres. There's still about 43 kilometres of it they haven't found yet. It's another reason why it's a closed national park, because they don't want anyone else to find it. They're going to find it. It's hopeless. So.
It's been a big day, hasn't it?
Yes, I need a drink.
You need a drink of water.
I had the water in the car on the way back here so I could have this.
Sure.
I only had 600 mils. It's probably not enough when you're already dehydrated.
Has Ben had enough water today?
Yeah, I had plenty. I've had a bottle of water in my hand all day.
Oh, that's a good boy.
Doesn't mean it emptied, but he had it with him. But I like it.
Oh, it's probably just good mental too.
Oh, I've always been a low person though. I've never liked Shiraz and that when you sort of give them 2 doses that.
Oh, Ben's sophisticated. You're not, you see. That's the whole thing about it.
Meant to be.
You've got no sophistication about you.
Have you seen me today? She's like, are you going to get changed soon? Please. You look like trailer trash. Well, I am trailer trash. Have you seen my camper trailer? You're not going to be able to drink in peace now.
Give me a sip. Go on, give me a sophisticated sip.
A sophisticated sip. A sophisticated sip. It's going to spill it. You're like,
Where Undara crater is, it's about 15 kilometres from us here. And it had 3 major paths of eruption to the northeast, the north and the northwest one at the top there. And that's the one we're mainly concerned with, the northwestern one. When you look on this aerial photo here, all these darker bits you see, they're actually a collapsed lava tube. So it's come from the crater, the northwest one. It's travelled all that distance, 160 kilometres, where it come out at the Ainsley River. If you came in from Mountain Surprise or you know Mountain Surprise, everything you see around there all came out of the Undara crater. It's actually the single biggest eruption from any one volcano on Earth, the amount it put out. At 23 cubic kilometres of lava in one event. And the way it formed the tubes, as it came out at a nice slow pace, and it's just starting to roll down the way, a lot of creek beds, waterways, depressions in the land. Came out at about 1200 degrees, a little bit more than that. And as it's flowing, the top of it gets exposed to the atmosphere. So that begins to cool, begins to solidify. The shear volume just keeps coming. So it actually ends up burning down what's beneath it in the ground from previous layers of basalt eruptions. So it's burning down, but it's just coming and coming. And at the sides of those waterways or depressions, you get more of the basalt that adheres to that and begins to solidify. So now we've got the walls and the top. And the other great thing about basalt is it's a really good thermal insulator. So it's actually produced its own thermal conduit that it's now flowing in, which allowed it to flow so far. I estimate it would cool about 1 degree every 10 kilometres. So by the time it's come out 160 kilometres away into the Ainsley River, it's only cooled 16 degrees.
Goes Ben with his long, lanky legs.
Like candle wax. It's what they call drip and dribble. Very scientific explanation of what's actually occurring as the lava flow continues and what's on the wall rolls down, drips down. You do get more of these little lava sickles form from liquid to stone.
Jeff, what causes the undulation in the floor though?
The condensation dripping from the roof. As you come past here, you see there's an effect on there. It's what they call cave coal. So it's been coming down and just heating the actual calcium rises up. Causes that little effect. They're called cave coal. Is it which one coal? Yeah, I'm glad there's not one of those big, heavy, big Latin terms for all this stuff. The lava dripping, creating what we call lava sickles. So it's stuck on there. There was others here, but they have been broken off and knocked down.
Is here. We is here.
It says here that we is here.
It says we is here. And we're going to go up there and see how much wind there is.
Hey, they've changed it. It's at an hour on the thing. Just see what I'm doing.
In the past 7 to 8 million years, multiple volcanoes in this area have erupted again and again. The earth has trembled, rivers of lava have poured over the land, and the air has been thick with clouds of volcanic cinders and ash. Between eruptions, the earth lay dormant for thousands, perhaps millions of years. The last eruption was less than 20,000 years ago, which is a mere blink of an eye in geology history.